let's talk about Fallout, baby. Let's talk about Fallout. What's been up with the franchise, man? Because again, this has been a real big time for Fallout, I think, because of the show. It's really coming to its own. People have loved it. It's one of the highest rated shows on Prime Video. It's had a really big pickup. A lot of people interested, new, old, all that jazz. Fallout 4 came through. Fallout 76 was either free or on sale recently or some shit like that. There's such a big conversation with them and Bethesda at large, but first and foremost, there's been a lot of talk about the next Fallout, when we could see it, but more importantly, where do we want to see it go next? It seems like it's a long way out, but there's been a lot of chatter about where it could show up. And when you had a really good idea on the timeline, I just want to talk about potential locations that we might want to see and just theory craft a little bit about where Fallout could go.
Yeah, so this topic came up to me when I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw an IGN article about it. I cannot take credit for thinking of this, but I think that a really good place they said this in their article, I think New Orleans is a phenomenal place to go. Great history of music, the bayou, just being in it. That is an area I feel like we really haven't explored yet. Imagine exploring the swamps. Oh my god, I could only imagine what that's gonna be like. But I would love to see it there. But the city I think that a lot of people overlooked that I think would be a phenomenal setting would be Philadelphia, would be Pennsylvania. I think it would be I think it would be a really smart place to put it, just because I think Fallout has always been about super American, hyper American patriotism, talking about even Fallout 4, the Minutemen and all these kinds of things. I would really love to see it in Philly, because I think that it has such a big part of American history. The patriotism would be through the roof in the Fallout universe. I couldn't imagine it not being.
Facts.
And one of the things that I was concerned about, it being a city, how would it look like in the Fallout universe? But if nukes hit the planet, the landscape could be completely different. Philly may not be the most green area, something like West Virginia would be but because it would be set in Pennsylvania and the map is different, we would have Philly is maybe the Commonwealth, or your city area, and then having a bunch of more green areas on the outside of it. There's so much history in the city of Philadelphia that I think would work so well in Fallout. Having even the Phillies, our fucking basketball team is the 76ers. It's all about the revolution.
It's right there.
It's all right there, and it just makes a lot of sense. I would love to see it, not even just because I'm from Philly, but I think it would be dope. But I think they should keep in terms with I think they should follow the 13 colonies kind of thing. Even though I loved it being set, I think there was one that was set in California, the West Coast. Obviously, much love to that side too. But I think Philly would be a really good solid spot for the next Fallout game. Yeah,
that's a really good spot. I can't even lie. That's a really solid spot. Damn. It was the first two, right? It was the first two that were I just had to.
They were in California, I think.
The first
Fallout 1 and 2.
Yeah, the first two were on West Coast stuff. Just I double confirm that. Yeah, just to make sure I'm not hitting any overlaps and stuff like that. So California was covered, parts of Oregon were covered, of course Nevada and Mexico were covered. So in those first couple ones. New Orleans is a fantastic. I think New Orleans and Philly are probably top shouts. I think those are top shouts. I think just because of there's enough balance between open areas and crowded city streets and stuff like that. Again, the New Orleans shout is really good. You can walk down, the French Quarter and shit. Some of the wards, that would be a really cool experience. You might get on an airboat or something like that if you have the technology or whatever at the time. You just go through some of these sections, see these giant ass or irradiated crocodiles and shit. People throwing beads that are bombs or some shit like that, are just full of caps. I don't know. There's a lot of good ideas with New Orleans. Again, Philadelphia, that's a really good shout. I like your reasoning for that. Detroit, they literally just had to take photos of Detroit today. It would not even change in a nuclear fallout. That's about the same. You don't have to change the environment whatsoever. I think you can cover Fallout pretty much today. That could be live action, and that would be photorealistic to 2077, 2087, whatever you want to throw it. I don't want I'm sorry. It was either that or Cleveland was getting the stick. I don't know who's gonna get it this episode, but it is what it is, man. But that's fair. Honestly, it will be a bit farther out, a farther reach, but I'll say it as a, you know what I'm saying, as a member of the, you know what I'm saying, the crazy land, a resident of the crazy lands. Somewhere in Florida might actually be like a fair estimate. It has to be like a crowded area. It can only be literally in Orlando or Miami. It has to have enough population density or like building density in it to be considered a Fallout game. It has a good mix of it. Like a downtown Orlando would be cool, but I feel like it's on the small side. I would rather Miami, honestly, because there's enough like historical background and stuff like that where you can pull from on that side, and there's just a good mix of like, you know, the Everglades is there, so like what happens if the Everglades got nuked and shit, like giant ass alligators and stuff coming through the sewers, like that would be a cool thing. I'd rank it lower than a Philly and a New Orleans, but I think Florida would be a solid shout. I think Florida would be a solid shout, honestly. But yeah, I'm taking it to a new place. That is somewhere. Yeah. That's something that really
have we seen Texas yet? Have we? I don't think we've seen Texas yet.
I don't think we've seen Texas yet. Yeah,
Texas is a very drive-through city. Yeah, not drive-through, but like it's a lot of driving. But yeah. I think Texas would be a cool, like the concept of Texans in the Fallout like capacity would be very interesting.
Facts. I was avoiding because I wasn't completely sure that we might have seen it before. Off the top of my head, I wasn't sure, but Texas would be fire. I think Texas would be fire. It has to have enough, like, it depends on where it is. Like, if it's in Austin, it's smaller. It has like a city center. It has like outside areas and stuff like that. Austin, I think would be very, very like retraceable in a video game format. I think Austin is actually a fair shout for that. But outside of that, just kind of looking like, you know, Fallout and Bethesda at large. Speaking, you know, going from what place it is to, you know, what place it is we want to go to in Fallout to what place that Bethesda kind of holds in the rankings. There's been a lot of talk about, you know, when we want to see the next Fallout, what Bethesda's capabilities are. Todd Howard again said on the Kind of Funny Games podcast he doesn't want to wait too long to see a new Fallout come through, and there's been a lot of talk about giving Bethesda more resources and potentially giving them more of the ball to run with. When you think about their hierarchy in Xbox's, you know, system, their umbrella and stuff, you have all these different brands and IPs. You could say that the most potential could lie with Bethesda. They could have the most potential, even amongst the Activisions, the Blizzards and stuff like that. Bethesda still could have a big part to play in Xbox's success going forward. Again, thinking about all the Fallouts, Elder Scrolls 6, again, Starfield still could be, you know, getting developed further down the line. Like, think about the engines, the TV shows is back. You know, there's a lot of things that are building with Bethesda, and my question to you, Wen, is, would you give them more power to do the things that they want to do, and how would you want to see that realized? Because I have my thoughts on it, but I want to kind of see, should Bethesda get more of the ball?
No, I don't think Bethesda should get more of the ball, and the reason I say this is because Bethesda didn't need the ball before. When Fallout 4 came out, like when we had these like Bethesda games, bro, I think the issue is that they become complacent. Like and I feel like I use this all the time, but they just don't seem as hungry to me anymore. Like, they don't seem like they're really trying. Even fucking Starfield, like, I know that they're like, we dialed back our ambitions to be able to deliver a game on time. I think time is something that they would need. I think giving them more time would be a different conversation, but I feel like the Bethesda that we have now isn't the same one that we had when they made Skyrim. Isn't the same one when they had when they made Fallout 4. Fallout 4. Like, and the thing is that, don't get me wrong, Fallout 4 wasn't even like the craziest game ever. Like, I'm playing it now, and it's like, it's not like the settlement stuff has a lot of work that needs to get done, and it's not even like work in the sense of like Fallout 4 like settlements didn't work. It was just clunky as shit, but it was fun, right? Like, they took a big ass chance and they put a lot of effort into it, and then the community went back and fixed it with mods and shit like that. But they just didn't wow me with that, with what they've done with 76. They didn't really wow me with what they did with Starfield. And maybe it's because they're afraid of going with their ambition. Like, if that's what Todd Howard means, like, I want more of the ball, as in, like, let me cook, like, let me truly take my time and cook with this shit, then yes. If it's more money they want, like, if the money's gonna go towards like better engines or equipment, like, I just don't know if they really need, like, if they really have it in them. I want to see something from them that will truly blow my mind. So if you're telling me would I give them more money? I may boost the ratings, but to make them my soul, put all my chips on Bethesda, I cannot say I would do that, because I don't really know who they have to blame for Fallout 76. That was before they got acquired by Xbox, right? Like, that was before they got bought out. They made those decisions on their own. And even Fallout 4 had issues. A lot of people were upset with Fallout 4.
This drop was even jankier than usual.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, to sit there and be like, yo, bet all your chips on me. I don't think Xbox really can, because if you're putting all the money towards Bethesda, Avowed's gonna suffer. Other companies are gonna suffer. Like, look at the people who made Outer Worlds. That game is not on a grand scale like a Fallout game, but it was fucking solid, right? They scaled back and they did what they wanted to do on a smaller scale, and it was really fucking good. A better space exploration game, a better space game than some would say Starfield was. And that's the shit that I'm looking for. I don't think I need to give a big ass company more fucking money for them to disappoint me again. Like, they still need to fix a lot of the shit that they've wronged the community to begin with. Like, Fallout 76, people are saying, like, every time I see a TikTok about Fallout 76, they all say the same shit. One dude was like, I wish it was actually a bad game, because then I would have something to talk about, but it's just like walking around to Kohl's. Like, shit is just like expensive as fuck. You're kind of just doing whatever, really, and so to pass the time. Like, I just don't, they need to prove it to me. They need to prove it to me in some kind of smaller scale that they could do something, or even just like, hey, we built this build of Fallout 5. This is what we're planning on doing. This is how we plan on making it run. This is the shit that we want to do. Because if you put all your money towards them, you as Xbox, you can't afford to do that. You don't have the money. You can't fuck over all the other companies. This is what happens when you acquire too many things. You can't bet on companies the way you would want to, because all this money you're putting towards Fallout could have went to Call of Duty, and now Call of Duty's suffering. When that shit, you know, it could have garnered some money, but you put it all in Bethesda's lap. I think Bethesda could do amazing things with the right resources, but I just don't know if they really got it in them these days, because Starfield was a huge ass disappointment in my opinion. And when smaller companies can do what they were doing better than them, then shit, fucking, I don't know, man.
I would slightly agree and disagree with you on that point. This is my thing. I'm not saying give them money to do whatever they want. I think Xbox, in their technical expertise, has a lot of upside to give Bethesda to really flourish in certain ways. I'll tackle two different distinct things. One, working on their engine and really fast tracking it to be, you know, not just up to today's standard, but also a little bit further. Make it state of the art, make it really like close to, you know, really good. The creation engine, it's done a lot of good, but it's also very dated. It's very, you know, I've heard stories of, like, you know, it being a little bit techy to work with. Like, if Xbox can provide them, you know, I'm not sure what the theory is of them changing creation engine or moving on from creation engine. I don't think they necessarily should remove it, but there needs to be heavy set updates to what the capabilities of creation engine can do, how it moves, how it feels. There needs to be big overhauls to what it provides, in my opinion, and Xbox can help with that resource wise. It's a big resource that I think can help boost all of their games to not only be, you know, of a standard that they see fit, but everybody can see fit. So supporting in that way, I think Xbox can and should help Bethesda in that sense, because it's not only it's gonna have a knock-on effect to every IP that they touch going forward for Bethesda stuff. Again, with you saw how Starfield felt. Like, it felt a little bit dated. It felt like we're being drawn back a little bit too far. Like, we want to get pushed forward with some stuff, and if they had at least better you know, hold on a more progressive engine, or a more progressive iteration of that engine, we might have seen something different. You know, I think that could be a big thing that maybe, you know, Xbox was a little bit too late to the party on, since Starfield was being worked on for so long. They kind of had to let them rock, but they have say now. They have a chance to, improve the dynamics of the project now, a future project for Bethesda now. So that help with the engine, help with the technical expertise to really build out and modernize and push forward and future proof that ability to create those games in that engine. That's a big thing that I think that they could really capitalize on in general. And two, I think not necessarily for Xbox's side, but for Bethesda's, not necessarily increasing their resources, but increasing their range. I want them to have more time for their franchises. Right now, Fallout is not a main plan. Fallout has not been planned for anything. In my opinion, and I know people are gonna be mad at this. Not necessarily mad, but everybody's gonna be, talk, say their shit about it. But I think they should outsource Fallout. They should outsource Fallout. They should give Fallout to somebody else for now, for the immediate future or whatever. If Fallout's getting this level of hype from the TV show, this level of hype from Fallout 76, it's having a knock-on effect, and Fallout's back in the eyes of the public again. If capitalizing on the moment is really key, and I think that's what again, like Epic is good at. That's what Sony's really, really good at, taking their IPs and really capitalizing on them at the same time in multiple formats, whether it be TV to games to movies, blah blah blah. Bethesda and Xbox, by and large, has an opportunity to do that with Fallout in the near future, what they do with the next season and blah blah blah. I think outsourcing not only gives Fallout the chance to be, again, fast-tracked in development to somebody that's going to give a different spin on the Fallout franchise. They have the resource of Bethesda to go to for pushback and feedback and all stuff like that. It also frees up a lot of time and focus for Bethesda to really bunker down the hatches and stuff and focus on a product that they can really, really put their all into, not be too spread thin or whatever, and have a real running start at something like an Elder Scrolls 6 and give the time that they need. Like you said, when I think it's more time than actual money resources on a lot of different fronts, except for the engine talk. But in terms of the actual games themselves, it's more time and actual steadfast like development and feedback and those iterations than actual money in terms of throwing it at building the game out outside of the engine. You know what I mean? I agree with you on that point, but I think it delves into that area, and I think them outsourcing Fallout, you know what I'm saying? And yes, I am a New Vegas fan. You're damn right I am a New Vegas fan. If you were thinking I was heading that way, you're damn right I am. All right? I'm not saying Obsidian exactly. I'm not saying them. They should outsource it to them indefinitely. I'm not saying that they're the one. But in general, if they give Fallout, if they give, a franchise that they're not giving all their time and attention to right now, to somebody else, and have some creative oversight in terms of making sure it stays in line with the lore, the world, the tone, the fit of a Fallout, they can really spread their wings on the stuff that they focus on. Their other IPs grow, and there's a win for Bethesda all around and a win for Xbox at large. So I think, in my opinion, yes, they should be supported, but not the ways that you might think. If they give more resources in terms of money, time, and technical expertise of Xbox to Bethesda with updates and upgrades to the creation engine, and they move Fallout out to somebody else, and they all three can put their heads together and create something good on the side, while Bethesda focuses on their again franchise like what was it called, the Elder Scrolls 6 and whatever they have going on next. I think they're working on some other project I forgot about off the top of my head. What's it called? Indiana Jones and stuff like that. I mean, that's already done, but you know what I'm saying. If they have time to focus more on that, and they have updates to their engine to really bring stuff forward, I think they're in a golden spot. I think they step up in the pecking order for Xbox a massive amount, higher than they already are. Even though they're one of the first ones to get brought under the banner, I still think they have a lot more to give. They have so much more to give, and I think they really can realize that if they start to move towards expanding their horizons in terms of their development power and in terms of really pushing their engine forward. And Xbox can't help with that. Xbox should be looking into ways. I feel like I'm dumb compared to the experts, of course, bruh. Like they're probably already thinking of ways to really build these avenues up for Bethesda, because at the end of the day, that's gonna add so much strength to their IP. So that's how I feel, man. Bethesda really has a lot of potential. And if Xbox can start to bunker down the hatches, really start working with them in those certain ways, I think that they'll blow up even bigger than they had. They'll hit a real big resurgence past the points of what we've seen before from them.
No, yeah, I agree. I think that's something that they should have done a while ago, because I think Fallout 4 being the last Fallout before 76 definitely hurt them a lot. Because if I would have been able to go from Fallout 4 into Fallout fucking, I don't know, New Seattle or some shit like that, like, I think it would have been a better experience. And then being like, oh, Fallout 76 was like, well, if I don't like this, I can always just jump back to this one. And it's something that, had you dropped another Fallout game with the same engine, same graphics, same gameplay as Fallout 4 before 76, I don't think I would even be upset. Even to this day, if you were to drop something similar to Fallout 4 today, it would get like a 7, maybe a 6, right? But I'd still play it because I'm a big Fallout fan. I really enjoy that franchise. But I think they kind of missed their mark. Now, if they drop a Fallout game, it has to be better. It has to be significantly better than what we've played in 4. And that's a little bit of a problem, because now you have to spend a lot of time making something new. Skyrim is stupid dated. We could never get a Fallout. We couldn't get a Skyrim New Vegas if we wanted to, because we would be like, this game is too fucking old. And that's really where they kind of really just shot themselves in the foot. And like, maybe like, I'm starting to see what you're saying. And I think that I agree that they need to give this to somebody else while they work on something big and ambitious and upgrade their engines, something that is huge. Because they genuinely cannot, the level of ambition and desire they cannot keep up with it. And that's why we're waiting so long for games that are mediocre, because they are trying to stay relevant while also trying to redefine the game, like they did back in those days when they made their fame. So it is a sticky situation, but I completely agree. I would love even if they were to do a game in the same engine as Fallout 4 that plays the same as the way Fallout 4 runs now, like, I wouldn't call this shit the best game in the world. Would I pay X amount of money for it? I probably wouldn't. I'd wait for a sale. But I'd end up buying it, and I'd end up playing it, because I do enjoy these games, and they still, the engine kind of still holds up. Like, it's still fun to play, but it is not worth $70 like something like a Dragon's Dogma, or even like I'm trying to think of a better example, but like the quality of games. There's a lot of really, really high quality games out there that like some shit like that. Like, even that game right there is a perfect example of like, hey, we're not trying to recreate the system here, but we know what you guys enjoy, and we're going to give you what you enjoy. And that's what I would have wanted from Bethesda, but they're taking too long. Like, if Like a Dragon came out, I think came out maybe 2 years after the last one. And it's improvements, but it's nothing game changing. But had it been a 5-year wait for that level of improvement, I'd have been like, this is ridiculous, But yeah, I think that if they really want to stay relevant and stay competitive, they could definitely give their IP to somebody else. Like, it's been proven before that they don't need to be the ones to make the Fallout games, because other people can do it really well. Even looking at the modding community, a lot of the fun in
Fallout London damn near thought they was the Fallout, you know what I'm saying? But that's the devs themselves, bro. They felt appalled when the update came out. They like, what the fuck, bro? Like, they was that stuck in.
Shit. Like, there's so much good shit in the modding community that, like, you could even just pull some of them people aside and be like, hey, we would like for you to build a DLC for this game, or we would like it just doesn't make sense. But no, I agree with you that somebody else should definitely man the helm. And if it's something like that, then yes, give them more money to make more content. But if you're gonna put all your chips in on Todd Howard to take his time with something, like, that's a risk I don't know if I'd be able to take.
Yeah, nah, I would. I can't say I'm gonna sharpen your tools, but I'm not gonna give you the entire shot clock. I wouldn't do that. Yeah.